Feel like you were unaware of all the things you ever squandered. Feel like you could live a dream, but you just failed to see.
What up, everyone?
There is always another day.
All right. HenricoM podcast number 7. Lucky number 7, and we have the fucking best guest in the world, probably, that I'll ever have. Let me just make sure everything is ready this side. Janine.
Not as good as the host.
You ready?
Oh, yeah.
You ready? All right, let's fucking do this. HenricoM podcast number 7. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. And a special fucking welcome to an absolute banger of a guest, Dr. Nehneh, also known as Janine Brandt.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Good to have you here. Really, really good to have you. I need to, sorry to interrupt you, but I need to give you this intro that you deserve. So, I tweeted this out before I even decided to contact you and everything, and I really think that people that we should be so thankful, so fucking thankful for people like you out there risking your life to make sure that all of us are safe, and why we should be basically staying home. So just before we start, I would really like to give you this intro. So a lot of us may know her as Nehneh. She's an awesome gamer. That's how I met her. I met a doctor through gaming. Just saying, anything is possible. So we know her as Nehneh. We call her Dr. Janine if things get really serious. She's an ex-competitive League player. Not wrong. She played League of Legends for the South African team, and she's an ex-streamer on Twitch.tv, where all this is happening live right now. She's a medical doctor trained at the University of Cape Town. Is that right?
Yes,
All
correct.
right. She studied for 6 years, and you're currently busy with your 6 years. Okay, so you're currently in your second year of working after studying for 6 years.
Yeah.
So 8 years.
Yeah.
Not the fuck. And you are currently based in Johannesburg, or at Johannesburg clinics, namely the Hillbrow and Alexandra. Is that right?
Yeah.
You consult health issues for gamers, and you have given. This was last year. Was it last year or the year before that?
Last year.
Last year, you gave a talk on gaming and health at the Global Exec esports summit in Korea.
Yes.
And you're not. Wait, I'm sorry if this is wrong. You're not natively South African, right? Or are you?
So I'm actually from Namibia.
Oh, that is a plot twist. Not even I knew that.
Plot twist. I don't really tell people that because I sort of gave up my citizenship so I could study medicine here in South Africa. So I became South African 11 years ago. So
you're a citizen now?
Yeah, I'm a citizen now.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, Dr. Nehneh is definitely amazing. Okay, well, I'm not. The floor is yours. I want you to please. So the reason for me having this podcast is basically I want whoever is watching me, whoever might watch my podcast, any of my viewers, I want them to grasp how serious this shit is. And who better to tell us from a doctor who literally, and you can talk to a doctor that's maybe, he's practicing from home, he's in lockdown with his family, but you are not that doctor. You're the doctor that's currently out there. While this is all happening, you are still going to work every single day. I don't know if you go today, but you are still going. People, if I'm not wrong, you're the first contact, right? You're the first contact people have. So if I feel, listen, I might have the virus, I go to you first.
So normally for my internship I'm based at Johannesburg General Hospital, or Charlotte Macheke as it's been renamed, which is sort of in Joburg's CBD central area. But I'm currently doing a rotation now, which has placed me in the community clinics. So Hillbrow and Alexandra. So that means people come to the clinics first, and if there's something that we can't manage at the clinic, we send them up the stream. So we send them to a more specialized hospital. So the hospital or the clinic, sorry, that I work at, the drainage area is to the hospital that I am normally based at. But yeah, it's just to give us like a more sort of basic kind of like a rounded education, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It's just really unlucky that I'm in the clinics at this like exact time where coronavirus has shown up on our radar. Because everyone will start at the clinic first. You can't just go like directly to like a tertiary level hospital. Yeah, so I see a lot of people every day who have symptoms like highly suggestive of coronavirus.
Oh god, and that's probably really scary. I mean, for me, me thinking about it, it's already scary. I mean, you might touch someone. This sounds weird, but you might help someone. Sorry, you might help someone, and they might have the virus. And the odd. Okay, obviously, I'm pretty sure that your hygiene is like next level compared to maybe what mine might be or anyone else's might be. So you obviously take precautions for that. But I mean, is it scary for you as a medical doctor to be in that sort of situation?
Yeah, I think it's like it's been really weird. So I've been following the coronavirus outbreak since it started because my older sister lives in Japan. So I was really worried about her because like Japan's like right next to China.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like following a lot of this like really closely, and obviously this kind of thing's like quite interesting. You know, like I never thought. You know, like when you study and when you become a doctor, you never think you're going to be on like the front lines of like a pandemic. You never think that. You always say, "Oh no, it's like in China, it's over there. Like
Yeah.
it's not coming to South Africa. Like what happens in South Africa?" So it's been really scary in the sense that the clinics are super understocked. We ran out of masks last week. So there was like a day and a half where I didn't have any masks. And then like a day after that, we ran out of hand sanitizer because people were stealing it from the clinics.
Jeez.
So we could only like wash our hands, and like washing your hands after every patient. And I know this sounds bad, like technically you should do it, but because we see so many people every day, or like in a day, we see so many people. It's just like it's easier to just like sanitize your hands in between patients.
Yeah.
But now we had to like wash our hands in between every patient. And 2 days ago, we at the clinic that I'm based at, also that's our new baby.
The doggo.
Sorry, guys.
He's so cute. Show him. We have to see. So
Monty,
pretty.
hello.
Look at him.
This is Monty.
Look at those eyes, dude. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Oh, those can look into your soul. Oh my god, he's so pretty.
He is very.
He's a rescue, right?
He is a rescue, yes.
Oh, that's so cute, dude. That's
Yes,
so
he's-
fucking cute.
He's still a little naughty, so I'm. Oh, exactly what I mean. Monty.
He just wants to be on the podcast. Welcome, Monty. Nice to have you.
Monty, no. No. I will blow scary smoke into your face. He doesn't like the vape smoke, so.
My mother's cats are very, very scared of them.
Sorry, he's still new. Like he's only, well, when I say like a month old, I mean he's a month old with us.
Okay, that's fine.
A month and a half, but he's
Okay.
5. I have a plate of food on my table. That's why he's like really excited.
He wants some
And
of the food.
When he barks, I'm really sorry, guys. He barks very loudly.
That's okay. That's okay. So he's part of the podcast now. He is the young husk. There we go. He's the young husk.
Yeah. Oh, so I was saying, yeah. 2 days ago, we didn't have water at the clinic, so we couldn't wash our hands. So we could only
No
use
water
sanitizer.
at all?
No water at all. I had to hold my pee for 8 hours of work. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I was like, yeah, it was just a bad time.
That's
So, like,
horrible.
after a while, your hands feel a bit like sticky and gross after you use the hand sanitizer. So like you want to wash your hands.
Yeah.
And it was like there was just
There's nothing
like,
you can do.
no water. So like I carry hand sanitizer. I carry hand sanitizer everywhere I go. This is hospital grade hand sanitizer.
Of course it is.
And I actually stole this one from the hospital. I am the reason we have a shortage, guys. I am the reason. And I also carry wet wipes everywhere I go. So I was like using wet wipes a lot. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So my thing, what I'm thinking now is, if you guys are having this, right? Your clinic is having this. What about all the other clinics?
So, a lot of the clinics around the country have shortages. So it's usually only in centers where they do surgery that you can find like fully sterile gowns and stuff like that, which is
Okay.
technically what you should be wearing when you interact with every patient. But because like in clinics they don't do surgery there, so you don't have like these like highly sterilized like gloves and like outfits and stuff, or like gloves that go all the way up to your elbows. And I know a lot of people who I went to university with who like work in Durban hospitals, and they didn't have masks at all, like none, nothing. Because like really, when like coronavirus hit South Africa, and people like at the beginning, people were like,
Everyone
but
was
then,
like that.
yeah, but then after like 2 weeks, people were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then like the panic kind of like happened. That's when everyone was like panic buying toilet paper. That's when like people were coming to the clinics and like literally stealing our masks and our hand sanitizer.
Holy fuck. Well,
No,
sorry to interrupt you, but if you think about
That's
it, like 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, everyone was still joking about this virus. Like, I remember our boss coming in on the Monday morning and like, guys, okay, we know it's here, we are prepared, but for now we're just gonna keep on as going. And everyone was like, in a, the mood of the office was kind of like, everyone is still fine. And literally within a span of a week, all that just changed. Everyone started to realize, I mean, including me, not that I was the same. I was like, it's just something that's gonna blow
Flu.
over,
It's just flu.
I didn't have that exact mindset, but I was also in the mindset of being like, it'll blow over, it's fine, this is not a movie, and then literally in a week, everything changed. Everything went from fucking 0 to 100 just like that. And that is when the people that started panicking. I for one can say that I did not panic buy, not at all. I didn't panic buy anything. That's probably why I'm in this predicament where I don't have masks or any gloves or anything like that.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, so the difference is that like I don't okay, I don't mind if people want to wear a mask, that's fine, but like it's more just a thing of people being like super inconsiderate. I see like 60 people a day, like a normal day at work. That's not even including if I'm working like over hours. So like 60 people a day. Not that I personally see, and like, because there's no ways I see about like 40 people myself. But I mean, like, I will interact with other patients as well. Like, oh, what are you waiting for? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, if you think about it. That's like a lot of people to interact with. So it's like super necessary.
Especially people you don't know, people who you don't know what their day looks like. You don't know who they touched, who they spoke to. And please educate me and anyone else here. If I'm not wrong here, if you don't have the virus, right? Let's say I'm safe, but I wear a mask. That's technically worse in a way, because let's say, okay, let me explain the scenario, maybe it'll make more sense. So let's say you have the virus, I don't. I have a mask, you don't have a mask because I bought all the masks. So that's the problem number one. So now you don't have a mask. Number two, wearing the mask causes, obviously, I mean, if you wear a mask all day or whatever, it obviously you start sweating or it becomes warm, so you might scratch your face and stuff more, which if you touch something with your bare hands might make everything even worse, because you're touching your face because it's itchy and everything, and it could spread the virus obviously faster. So wearing a mask while not having it is technically, you're not doing anything better. You're technically only taking the mask from the people who actually need them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So especially now that everyone, like the country's on lockdown, there is literally no point for people to be wearing masks. Unless you're going outside. But even if you're going outside, you still should be social distancing and therefore have no need for a mask. Does that make sense? It's like you should only be wearing a mask if you're sort of in a confined space for a period of time with someone that you don't know. Like, for example, if you're in the Uber to go to the shop, then yeah, wear a mask for the ride of the Uber. But the problem is that if you are already sick with the coronavirus,
There's not really a point to wear it.
like, so a lot of people have it, but they have not shown symptoms.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter then. So it's like kind of like hard to say. And I don't know. I'll like later on. I will show you. Unless you want me to do it now.
Well, you can delve into it now, because what my second point was going to be is something that, so I was actually standing in the shop, right? And I really motivate anyone, if anyone's watching this, please, in the bottom or after the stream or after you've watched this, please go follow Janine on Twitter. Like, go follow on Twitter. You can just give me your at real quick. I forgot it. I don't have it with me now. Your Twitter at.
I don't even know my
Okay,
Twitter.
but anyway, go follow her Twitter, because this is what
There you
happened.
I put it in chat. It's
Alright, so it's at
Nehneh.
DNEHNEH. So capital DNEHNEH. Go follow that Twitter, because this is what happened, alright? So like I said, I was not planning on doing this at all. I was hoping I could speak to someone who's a bit higher up, because on my previous two podcasts, I spoke to some friends about the whole coronavirus. It was just our knowledge, our opinions about everything. So what was happening, I was on my way to the shop. So my grandparents live in a house close to me. And I told them, like, please don't go out. If you need anything, let me go. I'm much younger than you. Let me rather die. You guys stay safe. Anyway, so I went to the store and I was watching people wear masks, right? And then I started to think, but why are you wearing a mask if you're touching everything with your bare hands, right? And they're like taking out their phones and they're working on their phones and they're like checking their checklist, but they're touching everything, but they're still going back onto their phones. Yet they're not cleaning their phones and they're putting their phones on their face and whatever. So that's when that didn't make sense to me. And then I started to think. And I shit you not, I was standing in queue with my phone, which I shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway. I was standing in queue with my phone and I opened Twitter, and here you are fucking tweeting left and right about how stupid people are in this scenario and what they are doing and what they are doing wrong in the situation. And then it got to me. So please, the floor is yours. You can go over everything, why we are doing what we're doing is wrong, and you can do the mask thing, why it's important to stay safe. And also, there's something you mentioned very interestingly that I really want you to elaborate on, is the terminology that people are using. What people are not, and there's different terminology that people are using, and they're using it wrong. So this floor is yours. You can talk for an hour. You can talk 5 minutes. For like, just please, the floor is yours. Educate me and educate everyone else watching this, please.
So, I think the first thing that people don't understand is that, like, you have to go back to the beginning, like way to the beginning. So coronaviruses, which is a family of viruses, okay, have been around for a very long time. Okay, it's nothing new. Coronavirus is one of the most common causes of the common cold. So, like, when you get a sniffle, when you have a cough, that is coronavirus. The other most common cause of the common cold is rhinoviruses. Okay, and the coronavirus family is a predominantly respiratory targeted virus. So it targets your respiratory system. So that's from your nose all the way to your lungs. Okay.
Okay.
It's just that, like, viruses, like the flu is different every year. You have to get a new flu vaccine every year. It's still the same virus. It just mutates to look different, if you think about it like that.
Okay.
So this is a different strain of coronavirus, which is more virulent, which means that it causes, like, it's more infective. Okay, it has the ability to infect more people. So if I'm positive with influenza, so flu, I will infect about 1.4 person and that person will infect 1.4 person.
Okay.
So after 10 times to repeat this, you'll have 14 to 15 people that are sick with the flu.
Okay.
Coronavirus that we know now, that is the responsible for this current pandemic, is COVID-19. That's what they've called it. Okay. This virus infects 1 in every 3 people. So if I have coronavirus, I will infect 3 people with coronavirus.
Wow.
Okay. And after that happening 10 times, you have 59,000 people infected with coronavirus. And like, that math doesn't make any sense. Like, I know, but I promise you, if you drew like a little diagram,
Yeah.
it would like make sense a lot quicker. So it's a highly virulent strain of coronavirus. And on top of being highly virulent, like, people don't really die of the common cold. Maybe like if it's like a really old person who has like cancer and diabetes and all that other stuff, okay, then yeah, maybe they might die from the common cold. But coronavirus, it has a higher probability of developing into more serious
Which is
sequelae.
pneumonia, right?
Yeah, so pneumonia, and so pneumonia is basically where you have like fluid buildup in your lungs, and what that means is that you can't get oxygen into your bloodstream. And when you can't get oxygen into your bloodstream, all of the organs in your body kind of go. It's like having a heart attack, but in like all of your organs, because a heart attack is you're not getting enough oxygen to your heart.
Okay.
And basically, like all of your organs do that, and then you go into multi-organ failure because your organs aren't getting enough oxygen, and so they just like
Die.
they just die. Yeah, they just stop working, and then you die. That's that's like the worst case scenario for coronavirus. So out of everyone that gets sick, so let's say we have 100 people that get sick, 60 of those people will only develop mild symptoms. So fever, cough, a little bit of shortness of breath. They'll be sick for a couple of days, like 10 to 14 days, with the cough that like will last after. So post-viral cough can last up to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But they'll be fine. And so the current mortality rate of coronavirus in the whole world is about 1 to 2%, which isn't a lot. But if you think of a population of 100 million people, that is 10,000 people dying, which is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
Wait, did I do that math right? 100,000 people? Sorry, 100,000 people.
Sorry, yeah, you
Rip.
did.
I promise I went to medical school, you guys. But yeah, so the whole thing is that the problem isn't really the people that are healthy and well, like you or me. The problem is all the people that we're in contact with that are not healthy and not well.
Yeah.
And you see, the biggest problem in South Africa is that we have 8.5, as of January 2020, 8.5 million people living with HIV and AIDS.
Wow, it's that many?
Yes,
Whoa.
8.5 million out of our population of 62 million. So almost 1 in every 6 persons has HIV in South Africa.
That is a scary fucking number.
That is people who know that they have HIV, okay, and are in the system, okay. Like then let's not even talk about our population that has TB, like latent or active.
No.
So the problem is that we don't know what coronavirus is going to do in people who are immunosuppressed. So in HIV and people who have underlying lung disease, like in TB.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my questions. Like, if you have HIV, what happens then?
So we don't know. We don't have any statistics on
Yet.
Because South Africa has the largest population of HIV people in the whole world. We have the highest percentage HIV positive people in the whole world. So we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And that's the biggest fear, or that was the biggest fear of the National Department of Health, was that we don't know if coronavirus becomes as widespread in South Africa as it has in Italy and in the USA. We don't know if that's going to kill those like 8.5 million people.
Yeah, it could easily happen because we don't know. Do you think it's going? Okay, you don't have to be professional about this. I want you to be honest. Do you think we're on our way to that?
Yes. So currently we have 1,000 confirmed cases, which means our actual number of cases are sitting at around 10,000.
So you, as a medical person, can say that they don't give out all the numbers immediately.
No. So remember, most people will only go get tested if they have symptoms.
Okay. Oh, and it takes a while for the symptoms to show. Oh,
about 14,
my God.
21 days.
We're all gonna die. It's over.
So what they did was they did cohort studies in China when the outbreak started. So what they found was, from the one point in time of numbers that they had to 14 days later, they had 10 times the number of infections. So does that make sense? So if, let's say, today is day X and they had 100 infections, okay, on day X plus 14, they had 1,000 infections, which is 10 times more. So so those are the people that started showing symptoms, but they've already been ill since 14 days ago.
But they didn't know it.
Yes, because it takes 14 days for you to start developing like illness due to coronavirus.
I have literal goosebumps. Like, I honestly thought this was gonna be informative. Now I'm just fucking scared.
So I can almost like 90% say that I probably have coronavirus.
Oh, there's a good
Um,
chance that you have it because of you working with. Working
yeah.
with other people.
I've like since yesterday I've had a bit of a tickle in my throat and have a bit of a cough. So it's like the problem is that it's like really shit because like every time I cough or every time like I feel like a little bit sore in my throat, I'm like, oh my god, it's corona.
And you probably, yeah, I was gonna say, you probably have that thing in your head.
I'm just like, oh my god. And it's not really about me. It's about the fact that like I'm more worried about Mario's family, you know.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
Like,
you live with someone
I know
else.
I will probably be fine, but remember I also interact with like a lot of people every day.
That's what I was gonna say.
HIV positive, who have TB, who have like other illnesses. So like it's really scary to think about.
You are probably one of those people who proactively already started, like, taking more vitamins, multivitamins and stuff like that. Or
So I was admitted to hospital in January for something completely unrelated. And since then I've actually been taking multivitamins. So I was actually on the multivitamin train like a while.
okay, silver lining.
2 months now. Not that it's gonna save you.
Yeah, no, obviously, but it might help. I'm asking because I don't know. Might it help you or?
I think like it's important to keep healthy, to keep your immune system up. Like I'm one of those people that gets sick like 6 to 7 times a year, like with flu, which is a lot.
Okay.
But it's simply because of the fact that I work in an environment where I'm seeing like high volumes of people who are sick.
Yeah.
And I'm also pretty sure I have TB.
That's okay.
Just chilling in my lungs. Just
But
somewhere.
that's why I have the utmost, not only respect for you, but like any person we should be bowing to you guys, the medical sector, and everyone else who's working on this, because we're not out there putting ourselves at risk. There are people. Okay, so this gets me. There are people out there, right? This is not. I'm not referring to the people who can't work currently, but people are able to work from home, right? And they're like complaining that they're not getting this 21-day holiday. Like, bro, you are lucky enough to still get a salary during this time. Well, there are people out there who has to go work every single day, who are probably fearing for their fucking lives at the moment, just because of how widespread the media is making this. And like you said now, if I get it or you get it, the odds of us dying is not maybe as much as someone who's actually terminally ill. But then you have people like that who are working from home, still getting a salary. They can go buy food if they need to because you're allowed to go buy essentials. Yet they're complaining about not getting a 21-day holiday. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I would love to have it 21.
No, yeah, I can imagine.
Save myself from coronavirus. But it's like, I guess you don't really think about it. I like a good example is, for example, I've been on HIV medication already because I had a needle stick injury and the patient was HIV positive. And you don't think about these kinds of things, but like as a doctor, to us, that is normal. It is normal for you to get a needle stick injury and for one time in your whole career to get TB once. That's
How
normal
is that
for us.
normal?
Because it's like in South Africa, it just happens. That's just everyone has like resigned themselves to that being a reality. My best friend from medical school, he's already been on HIV medication 4 times. We've been doctors for like 2 years, and he's already been on 4 times.
Wait, so it's normal for a doctor to get a needle stick injury in their life, like them getting poked with a needle that was inside someone else?
Yeah, look, you'd be surprised, especially when you're very, very tired, like late at night. That's how I got my needle stick injury. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I was super tired, and the patient like moved, and she moved in such a way that I ended up sticking myself.
Oh my god!
It's like that moment is quite scary.
I can't even begin to imagine.
I was like, I couldn't remember if this lady was HIV positive or not. Like, I flip open her file. I'm like, oh my god, please don't please no. And then it's like big in like big red ass letters. HIV positive, has not started on treatment, extremely high viral load. Those are like the worst scenarios you can hope for if you get a needle stick. I was like, why is this my life?
But are you okay now though? Do you know? Or I mean, obviously you probably checked yourself.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a long process, and it's like uncomfortable because you go on treatment for a month, but I got really sick. I got liver failure when I was on HIV medicine.
Because that was January.
No, this
Oh,
was like
before.
2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's just really crap. Like you have to do a test so when you get your needle stick at 4 weeks when you finish treatment, at 6 months and a year, and every single one of those tests are like the most nerve-wracking
I can sure that
moment of your life.
that's wow. That is we went off course there, but wow, that is something that I didn't know. I never thought as a doctor you expect to be like, hey, you're gonna get stuck by a needle. That's insane.
Just happens. You never think it's gonna happen to you until it does.
And then it does.
So now I'm like extremely, extremely careful because I am pretty sure that if I have to go on treatment again, I will like bugger my liver up to the point of no return.
Why does it affect your liver, if I may ask?
It's just the type of medication that they use. It gets broken down by the liver or it gets broken down by the kidneys. So either way, one of them is going to be buggered up.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's some bit side information there.
Yes, but that's sort of besides the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that like I was telling Mario, it's sort of an inevitability that I'm going to get coronavirus. There is like absolutely no way that I can sterilize every single inch of my body. Yeah. Think about it like this. I wear glasses, okay? I don't sterilize my glasses at all. I mean, I clean my lenses, but I don't sterilize these like the rims. And like when people cough, I'm sure like some of those droplets like land. And I do this a lot. Like I touch my glasses a lot, okay? Yeah. So then I touch my phone. And then I sanitize my phone at the end of every workday. So when I go home, and I make sure that when I take calls at work, that I'm either doing it on loudspeaker or on my watch on my wrist.
Okay.
Wow. So
the odds of you getting it is you basically accept the fact that you most probably might get it.
But I have accepted the fact.
Okay, and how do you? What is your mentality towards that? I mean, obviously you know what happened to people, and you know that the odds of you actually getting or going to like the stage 2 of the illness or stage 3 or stage 4. I'm not really sure how it works. I just know you either get kind of ill or you get really ill.
Yeah. So the way that my luck kind of works, I'm one of those people that get really ill.
We don't want that.
So I'm really hoping that this time around I can be one of those like mild symptom type of people, but. That's like never happened. That's like every medication I've taken like gotten the worst side effects. That's just like the ones that you don't want to get. Like flipping, who the hell gets like liver failure on like just a few days of like HIV? Just like nobody.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So let's say worst case scenario you do get it, right? What does that mean for your hospital, your clinic? What does that mean? What does that mean for them? Because I mean, you've obviously worked with them. You've worked with other patients.
I will go into. So there's absolutely no way to contact trace everyone that I've been in contact with.
Okay.
But it means that all the people that I work with will have to test because I'm like in very close contact with them.
Yeah.
And then I will go into isolation for 14 days. After 14 days, if I'm symptom-free, I am back to work. The problem is that you can get coronavirus more than once.
Yeah, it's not like once you got like rid of it, it's gone. You can just get it again, right? It's like just over and over. And do you like? I don't know if there's stats for this, but if you get it again, is it like worse?
No. So I think there's only a handful of reported cases of people who have gotten it again. And from what I understand, they suspect that the people who have gotten it a second time, it's because of the fact that they didn't really completely fight it off the first time.
Okay.
That's what I understand from it. Okay. It's like, it's kind of difficult to produce like high volume statistics based on like the current numbers that we have. Like you can't follow like 100,000 people and then like see, okay, cool, these are all the people that have recovered. Now you're going to follow them around until they get coronavirus again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I was going to ask now, let's say your entire, okay, let's say you get it, right? And your entire clinic tests positive for it. What is the fear regarding that? Because I know that is one of our big fears is our medical system won't be able to, keep
So
up.
I'm glad you've asked this question. We actually had this scare like last week, 2 weeks ago, last week.
Okay.
Not the week that has just finished, the week before. Okay. We had one of the doctors has a roommate, and this roommate traveled to China, came back and got sick, developed pneumonia, but never tested for coronavirus. Okay. Don't know why. Then this doctor that I worked with at my clinic, he started getting symptoms. And he tells us in a meeting that every single doctor is at.
Oh my
After
God.
the meeting, we'd been sitting in this room for like an hour. And then at the end, he's like, by the way, guys, blah, 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 blah. My roommate went to China and now I'm not feeling well. And we're just like,
It's probably chaos for you guys.
we were literally like freaking shame. He got like stigmatized, and I feel sorry for. And this problem, people are scared to go and test or admit that they have symptoms because of the fear that people have. Look, you're more likely to die from driving in a minibus taxi in Johannesburg, definitely, than to die of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
But because it's like relatively new, people don't know about it. This is exactly what happened when HIV first came out. Like first it was called GRIDS, gay-related immunodeficiency syndrome, because they were only seeing it in gay men. And then they later renamed it to human immunodeficiency virus, or AIDS, whatever. When they started finding like female people also can get it, like, and it was mostly sex workers or whatever. But this is exactly the kind of like fear. So like a lot of gay people were stigmatized back then in the 80s because of this. Like people didn't know how it was spread. They didn't know if you could catch it from sharing a glass with someone. Like people didn't know about it. And so like the stigma was like so humongous. And we only got rid of that stigma in the new century. It took us 30 years to get rid of the stigma of HIV. Well, at least in South Africa. I'm sure overseas the stigma is still exactly the same because like so few people get HIV or have HIV, whatever. But here, like because flipping every Tom, Dick, and Harry has HIV, people are like, yeah, I'm on ARVs and blah blah blah, and my CD4 count is this. So people don't, But because coronavirus is still new, people don't understand it. We haven't released a lot of statistics, and the worst part is that we have no treatment for it.
Yeah.
So that's the part that makes people really like stigma. The stigma is like really bad. So anyways, this intern, we were like, oh my God, you cannot come to work anymore, go home. They immediately sent him home, like straight up. They were like, you will go home, and if you do not come back with a negative like corona test, like if his test was going to be positive, we'd have to shut down the whole clinic, because then all of us would have to go into quarantine for 14 days
And get tested as well.
Yeah.
So-
No, only get and this is okay. So this is the thing that irritates me the most.
Sorry.
In South Africa, you cannot get tested for coronavirus unless you pay for the test yourself in private, and it costs about 1,000 rand. Okay. If you want to get tested in public where it is free, you have to have symptoms. One, a travel history, or contact with someone who is positive.
Wow.
Okay. If you don't have those two factors, you must have like really severe illness, okay, for them to consider to test you. So please, like, I was on call yesterday. I worked a 12-hour shift and I was in casualty. And this guy, first of all, why are you coming to casualty if you're completely well? Casualty is where emergencies come in. The emergency department. I was literally like about to punch this guy in the face. I'm like, you make my job so difficult. He's like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm just here for a corona test. I'm like, do you have a cough? He's like, no. I'm like, fever, shortness of breath. He's like, no, I'm perfectly fine. My employer just wants me to get a corona test. I was like, so a lot of employers have been saying their workers can't come to work unless they have proof that they have a negative corona test.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is that there is not an unlimited amount of tests.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask now.
They are shitballs expensive, okay, first of all. And second of all, because and like this is gonna not make a lot of sense, but it's a polymerase reaction test. So what that means is that they check the genetic material, okay, and if it flags like a specific part of the coronavirus gene, then it flags the test positive. But you can imagine that gene sequence testing is very expensive, okay? It's like
Yeah.
very expensive testing, and because it's just come out, the like coronavirus, like for labs to reproduce and replicate this test, it's not that easy. Okay, it's not like China's like mass producing these like PCR tests and sending them to South Africa or other countries. It's not
Yeah.
like that. They sent out the gene sequence, and then all of our labs had to make their own PCRs.
Wow.
Okay, so we don't have unlimited supply.
What is sorry, just before you go on, what does a test entail?
Okay, so what they do is they take what looks like a ginormously long earbud, like a really long earbud. It's like that long.
Okay.
It's like longer than this pen. It's like maybe, yeah, it's like maybe like that long.
Okay.
Okay, and then they shove it up your nose, down your throat.
Wow.
Like, and then they do that, and then they put it in like a little medium. It almost looks like hand sanitizer.
Okay.
And then they send it off to the lab, and then they test for it. And it takes,
Wait, so it's not immediate?
no, it takes about 2 days.
Oh, okay, so it's not like a year at least.
So if you're like super sick with coronavirus and you have lots of coronavirus in your body, the test will flag positive sooner. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So it's
yeah.
like it's a quantitative thing. So they check, they're like sampling all of the genetic material in that swab that gets sent off. So if there's a lot of coronavirus in it, it's likely to flag the test positive sooner.
Wow. I thought I legitimately thought it was like a pregnancy test, you know, like have a droplet of blood and boom, you're fine.
Sorry, Lexi's barking.
That's fine.
No. So to do the blood test, so they've shown that the blood tests don't yield a lot of results. So they will show a lot of false negatives. So what that means is the test will come back negative, but you actually have coronavirus.
So saliva is better.
No. So the swab is better. Swab is the best. Then you can do sputum, which is your spit or saliva or whatever. The like phlegm that's in your throat, you'll like, and then you'll spit it into a cup, and then blood. But they recommend doing the sputum one can take up to 5 days to flag positive.
So it takes a bit time. Okay, so that's our best hope is a bunch of earbuds. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now the problem that we are currently having is that the NICD, which is the National Institute of Communicable Diseases, they are the people that like are running like the tests, right? Them and Lancet Laboratories, which is a private lab company, whatever. They are currently sitting on an 8-day backlog of tests.
So that's tests they still have to do.
Yeah, that they still have to run through the like machine or process or whatever they do.
Do you guys have like a specialized unit that comes in every day? Wait, okay, do you do tests?
At my clinic, no, we don't do testing.
Okay, you send them to the tertiary hospitals and they have to do the testing.
Correct.
Okay. So what I was wondering is like, do you think they send like a little guy in like a little motorcycle that comes past every day at 6 p.m. to go come pick it up? You know?
No. So how it works is, so when I do my calls after hours. So yesterday I was at Eden Hospital, which is like a secondary hospital, in Joburg. Hello, Lexi. They have a tent outside that does coronavirus testing. So they've trained people specifically to do this test. And then every like few hours, a runner, we call them runners, comes and picks up the samples and takes them straight to the NICD, so that there's no like intermediary, like, so it goes from the one place immediately to the lab where it will get processed.
Okay, so they're basically limiting the contact that person has to make, or the not the contact man, just to shorten the process as much as they can, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's one good thing. You're good. Do you think we're prepared? Do you think not only our medical sector but we as a country are prepared for this virus? Do you think we were ahead of it? Do you think are you one of those people that believe the shutdown was too late, or
Yes.
because I'm
way too late?
Okay. Do you think so? If you can elaborate on why you think we're where it's behind? Because I genuinely want to know from a professional standpoint why. Because in my mind, I'm just like, oh, because the media said so, because I'm uninformed. You obviously have
So
much more contact or much more information regarding that.
so I don't know what people were thinking was going to happen in their countries, like that didn't happen in China. So like the way that it happened in China should have been our like gold standard on how it should have happened everywhere in the world. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of countries, when they had like 1 or 2 cases, were like, this means nothing. But China also had 1 or 2 cases. Remember, everyone starts at 1 or 2 cases before it explodes into like a shit fest of like 100,000 cases. The problem is that one day, a single day, can change your numbers by like tenfold. It is disgusting. China started their lockdown on the 23rd of January. Okay. The 23rd of January, they only had a peak in their numbers, 3 weeks after that. So wherever you decide to start the lockdown in your country, your numbers are going to like 10 times, 10 times, 10 times 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from that.
No, it's probably still going to go up a lot for us as well.
Yeah. And the problem is that because people in South Africa are just so retarded, I don't know why. No offense.
No offense taken. People are fucking stupid.
I love South Africans, but geez, Louise, some people are like retarded. They're going to have this like thing of, oh, this lockdown's not working. Look, our numbers are continuing to climb. Stupid. Those people are already infected. The people that are going to be positive in 3 weeks are already infected now.
Because that's how long it takes.
Yes. Now, think about it like this. Our numbers are currently 1,000, right? In 3 weeks, it's probably going to be about 20 to 30,000. Okay.
Easily.
Are you going to send out 30,000 positive coronavirus people into the communities?
No.
No, our lockdown's going to go longer. China's lockdown lasted over 2 months.
And don't you think, because, I mean, we as a country have a fuck ton of townships and very small base communities, like communities that are living on top of each other, like 5 people in the house.
Yeah.
So for us, it could really be worse.
Yeah. So the problem is that like I've seen a lot of videos of like the last 3 days. Wait, 2 days? Today's Saturday, 2 days of people just like completely ignoring the lockdown, like just completely ignoring it.
Okay.
And like these are the people that are exponentially spreading our numbers.
And the thing is, people who are thinking they're young are like, so what if I get it? I'm going to be fine because that's what the stats are saying. But people aren't, this is not a time for me, it's time for we. You have to think about everyone else.
The problem is that it's not only that. The like very common mentality is that, and I know this, I don't want to make this like a racial thing, but a lot of people are saying that this is a white person illness.
I read that, I think I read that from your Twitter. Someone said something like regarding it being a white...
No, it wasn't from mine. So the problem is that people were thinking that it was just people who had money to travel that was getting coronavirus. Yes, well, that was the case initially in our first few days. That is no longer the case because now we're having an equal number of, okay, not even equal, like most of our cases are local to local transmission.
Okay.
Which means person to person.
Yeah. And is there I don't know if there's a statistic for this, but because obviously we have a lot of cultures in our country. We have white, black, colored, everything. Is there like a stat on which race has the most, or it's not being... Okay, I was just wondering, so
they've been very like cautious in not releasing that kind of information. And I agree with them because you don't want to stigmatize a race as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, let's put a scenario out there. Let's say that they released the racial statistics for all the people that were infected, and like at the beginning it was just Indian people, let's say. Now all the Indian people would just be stigmatized.
Yeah, okay.
Now this is exactly what happened in the States. People who are like Native American, who are like 2nd or 3rd generation Asians, which means that they haven't actually, like 2 or 3 generations were actually born in America, right? But they are still Asian by their cultural heritage,
Okay.
okay, racial, whatever, inclinations. A lot of people in America who are Asian have been getting like really, really hurtful comments about things like stop eating bats, you like, uneducated, whatever, get the hell away from me, you're carrying coronavirus, stuff like that.
I saw a video of a Asian man actually getting mugged in the street. This could be just a hearsay propaganda type of thing, but I saw a video that some news site shared on Twitter of a guy getting like mugged because he's Asian because of the virus, and they were like screaming something about the Chinese virus because someone actually just mentioned in chat. Mario actually just said in chat about the
Trump
China
said
virus.
it in,
Yeah, and
he
then
said it in a statement.
yeah, so they were yelling at him and like they were like beating the guy and like yelling something about the Chinese virus over and over, which is once again brings me back to my point. It's not a time to think about fucking me. It's about to think. This is time to think about we. Someone at my work said this very, very. They said it really stuck with me. They said this is the first time and probably one of the only times, hopefully, in our lifetimes that the whole goal of Earth is to survive and not kill each other.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own theories about this. Like, it's very like convenient how the viruses get released every 3 to 4 years, but that's just my conspiracist side.
That's what I was. There was actually a question I got from a viewer. Someone actually asked me, there's talks that the virus could become an annual thing, like the flu, not the virus, a coronavirus.
So you guys are like way behind. Like y'all are late to the party. 2003 was SARS. 2010 was Ebola. 2013 was MERS, and now 2020 is coronavirus.
Do you so you are without a certain, or it's almost a certain that this will happen again?
Yes. And look,
If your conspiracy theory inside of you wants to come out, I'm ready. I'm ready to go down a rabbit hole.
Biological warfare is like very real. And I just find it really convenient how. So SARS, MERS, and COVID-19 are all coronaviruses. The reason why coronaviruses are very often used in biological warfare is because they are spread very easily and their incubation time is long, which means that you don't know that you're sick with it until you start getting symptoms. But by then it's already too late. You've already infected like a whole bunch of people, you know? So, look, I'm not going to go into this.
No. Whoa. If there's a conspiracy inside you, I'll disclaimer this right now. Listen, whatever is happening here is our opinion. This is not based on medical. Whatever we're about to say about conspiracies, personal opinion. Please don't sue us. If you want to sue us, don't. Sponsor, no sue.
I've read a lot of stuff, and I think like one of the ones that was the most prominent to me was that I don't know if any of you guys have been following what's going on in China at the moment. So China is a communist country, and people in China are sort of trying to like fight against the Chinese communist rule, and that's met with a lot of consequences. So Hong Kong is separate from China, and they are a democracy. So they're like governed by other people, not the communist government. However, China still wants to like get up on Hong Kong's business, right? And so they were trying to like sort of enforce some stuff in Hong Kong that people were like not having, and so it like sparked a whole bunch of like really like violent protesting in Hong Kong that happened last year around August, September.
Is that the free Hong Kong movement that happened, or when that whole?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. I was flying through Hong Kong when it happened. We got stuck in the airport. This is when I was flying to Korea, and we whatever.
I don't know.
You know what I mean. We had a layover in Hong Kong, and we weren't allowed to leave the airport. So I had like a 8-hour layover, which is like in more than enough time to leave the airport, go check some cool shit out in Hong Kong, and then come back. But they were literally like, it is super unsafe to leave the airport. Like they were like, yeah, the protests that were happening outside the airport was like quite violent. And that actual day that I was coming back from Korea, they had gassed like a lot of the trains that were leaving the airport, like the public transport trains that leave. Yeah. So, so from from my conspiracy side, I believe that this is maybe a ploy from the Chinese government plus the American government working together to like quiet down these Chinese people that want to go against like the communist rule. Because Trump and Chinese leader guy Xi Jinping, I can't say his name, whatever. They're quite close. So yeah, this is my. I think it's a way to control the masses. Like how you can't protest if you're locked indoors.
Population control. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I haven't thought about it that way. You can't protest if you're indoors.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it gives time for like governments to look really good. Like everyone's saying, oh my God, Ramaphosa is doing like a fantastic job. Like yay, faith in leaders around the world restored, kind of thing. Yeah. So look,
Do you think he's doing a good job?
I think I think we could have started our lockdown like a couple days earlier. You know when I said we're.
Sorry, wait. I lost you for a moment there. Just adjust your microphone. There we go.
Okay, sorry. You know when they were like, cool, we're gonna have a lockdown in like 3 days. It starts on Friday. Those 3 days really fucked us. Like they really, really did.
Do you know why they do it that way? Is there a reason why they are giving it 3 more days to spread? Why not immediately like, listen guys, we're done, or tomorrow or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know why. What made them think that like 3 days was a good idea? Like what? I think it's because a lot of people in South Africa are from like rural areas, but they work in like urban settings, and then they only go home to like Umtata or whatever for Christmas or special occasions. So I think that was just giving people like time to go back to their like families in like the rural setting. So yeah, it definitely wasn't so that people could panic buy all the freaking meat in the shop.
No.
Which
Okay,
I'm very upset about, by the way.
Okay, you said it fucked us. How? In your professional opinion, what happened? Why what happened? Why were we fucked?
Because so for example, 4 days ago on the 28th of March, we had 500 cases. We have plus 700 today. Like not today as in like we have 700 new cases today, as in like from 4 days ago, we have 700 new positive cases.
Do you think people panic buying, going to the stores, definitely had an effect on that? Because I think it would.
Yeah. I was looking at like the queues outside the shops on videos on Twitter and stuff. And I'm literally just thinking, like every person that I followed that was like, oh, look, I'm standing in the queue. I literally wanted a message and be like, you are an idiot.
Yeah.
You are not, it's not like you're not allowed to buy groceries. Wait until all this shit's calmed down and just freaking go on Saturday or Sunday or something.
I had to, so my grandmother needed flour, right? She wanted to make like porridge, whatever. She needed flour, so I was like, it's fine, I'll go buy for you, because she didn't have any left, and so I was like, I'll go buy for you. So I went to the store on Wednesday morning. I was at the store 20 to 8, and I was standing in a queue. And I live in Somerset West, which is like it's like a mini Cape Town, where you don't ever get where you have to wait.
Somerset West.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You don't ever get like where you are standing in. You get queues, but not that much. 20 minutes before the store opened, I was standing outside the Checkers waiting to still go in. It was fucking insane. And people were buying everything. Like there was one loaf of bread left, and it was 8:15 in the morning. One loaf of bread left. Everything was gone. Everything. People are panic buying fucking everything. Like idiots.
Yeah. I don't know. People are pretty stupid.
So, I have another thing I wanted to ask you. What are your predictions? This is a question from the community. What are your predictions? Where are we ending here? What are your in a professional health personnel's? What is your prediction as in when will this end? How long will this pandemic run? What do you think? Will that be entirely up to the people, or what do you think?
In South Africa, our pandemic's gonna last where our numbers are like increasing like significantly is gonna last for about 2 months, and then it'll start slowing down. But I think we're going to be continuing for about 4 to 5 months.
Okay, and I think that's a good intro for you to show. I know you said you wanted to show us something. Maybe if you wanted to elaborate on the terminologies and everything.
Okay, so I like it's like something irritating me and frustrating me. Is the like terminology that people use, and I just want to like lay lay the law down right now. So you have absolutely no excuse to use the wrong words. Okay. Currently, South Africa is in lockdown. So people who are at home, you are not self-quarantining or self-isolating or self-anything. You're on lockdown. Okay. You have no choice in the matter. It's not like you're saying, "Oh, I choose to do." No, you're on lockdown. You're not in quarantine. You're not in any of that. You're on lockdown. Okay.
Okay.
Isolation is people who remove themselves from other people because they have symptoms. Okay. Self-isolation is where you say, so like me, for example, if I have like a cough, okay, I will go and I will not go to work for like 14 days. That's me self-isolating. Okay.
Okay.
If you are isolated, not self-isolating, if you're isolated, for example, in a hospital, you are in a room by yourself with strict precautions for any healthcare professional to go inside because you are symptomatic and your risk of transmitting the virus is extremely high. Okay. That's isolation.
Okay.
Quarantine is completely different. Quarantine is for people who are not symptomatic, but are at high risk of developing symptoms because of some factor. Like, for example, if I just came back from China now, or no, let's use Italy rather. If I just came back from Italy, but I have no symptoms, I'm from a high risk area, which means the probability of me developing symptoms is extremely high. Therefore, I should go into quarantine. So you have self quarantine, which is where you recognize that you are high risk and you put yourself in quarantine, okay, for 14 days. And then you have normal quarantine. So I don't know if any of you, like, how much you guys know about the coronavirus outbreak, but there was a cruise liner that left Hong Kong on I want to say it was like time late Jan, and they were going to dock in Japan. Okay, so Japan quarantined the ship in the port. Quarantined, okay, meaning they kept everyone there for the whole 14 days forcibly, even though like most of the people did not have symptoms.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, and then they did testing on every single person, and they found that 719 people were positive for coronavirus
On the ship?
On the ship of 3,000 people.
Jeez. So the odds of other people getting it, or it's still going to get it, is possible. On the ship.
So that was the point of them doing testing on every single person.
Oh,
So
okay, I get it.
everyone. So they were like they were cordoned off in certain areas. Okay, so all the people that tested positive went to the side of the boat. All the people that tested negative, then the people that tested negative were removed from the boat and quarantined in another area away from the positive people for another 14 days.
Damn.
Does that make sense?
Imagine being stuck on a boat. During that situation.
They only let the people disembark like the 13th or the 16th of February after it was docked for like 20 something days.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What a situation. You also had something about the curve. Please. No, that's fine. I'm pretty. This one is very important for me. So I hope you guys can see. I think when I checked on the on the recording, it should look fine. So hopefully, everyone will be able to see.
So everyone's like hashtagging flatten the curve, but I don't think anyone who isn't in healthcare actually knows what that means.
Okay.
So I'm just going to explain the concept of flattening the curve, and this is just like a little diagrammatic sort of representation of. Can you see it? Oh my god, you can still see me.
There we go. Okay. All right, there we go.
Ox. Okay, cool. So this is flattening the curve. So at the moment, we're currently in the green curve, and our purpose for the lockdown is to get to the yellow curve. Okay. The reason for this is to limit the exposure that people have to other people. Okay. Whereby we extend the time in which people become positive so as not to overwhelm the healthcare system. Okay. If you let everyone roam around, blah, 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 and people have the mentality that this virus isn't going to affect me, that's the green curve. And this guy that says, whatever, it's just like a cold or flu. Don't be like this guy. Okay.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Then we're going to have
we'll call him Steven.
Yeah. So then we're gonna have like an exponential peak in cases, okay? In a way that we are unable to handle it, and our deaths will skyrocket because we are just like not at the capacity to manage. Currently in South Africa, we have 3,000 respirators or things like ventilators, things that can help people breathe. If things get really bad here, we're going to need like 20 to 30 times the amount
Wow.
of that. Yeah.
S-
So yeah, so the whole point of flattening the curve is social distance and to isolate people from other people so as to slow down the spread of coronavirus. And the reason why it's so important to do this is because by drawing out the time at which we are exposed, or this corona thing is a pandemic, it gives us enough time to come up with a cure or medicine.
So my question is,
But we can't come up with a cure or medicine.
wait,
Doing
you
research is
broke up there.
dying.
Sorry, I just heard something about medicine.
I'm saying we can't be making medicine if all the people are like getting infected and people
Yeah.
that need to do research and stuff are dying.
Okay, tell me. So let's do a
Okay,
what if.
exit this.
You're gonna have to turn on your
Guys,
camera
there we
again.
go. Cool.
I just have to turn on your camera again. There we go. She's back. Okay, so let me ask you this: what if, we don't flatten the curve? Will our entire medical system just collapse, and that will
Yes.
probably cause people who are helping the sick to get sick? Or yes, what do you think will happen?
We're going to have a scenario like in Italy. At the moment in Italy, 6,400 healthcare workers are currently infected with coronavirus.
The health workers.
400 healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, like other people that work in healthcare. That is a lot of medical personnel that is infected with coronavirus, which means none of those people can come to work.
Wow.
The whole system's going to collapse. Like if we don't take this seriously, it's just like, you know, that's just like that's it. Like what we're going to be training like lay persons to sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. We're going to be training lay persons to treat
But
coronavirus.
I mean, okay, so this is I saw a question come up in chat now from things. So the process of recovery, is that still contagious? Are you still able to? Is it still contagious, basically?
Yes. So
Okay.
the time that you are most contagious is just before you start exhibiting symptoms up until the first few days of you having symptoms. Any time that you are symptomatic, you are still contagious. So if you still have a cough, if you still whatever breathing your corona air on people, you are still infected. You're still infectious. So you're still able to transmit the illness. So this is where mask differences come in. So I will show you. This is an N95, and I'll explain to you now why it's like in a little packet thingy.
We've got props, boys.
And this is a surgical mask. Okay. So this my N95 is in packet because so it has my name at the back, and it has the date that I started using it, because we are in such shortage that we have to keep our masks for 7 days because they last about 7 days. Okay.
Wait, they have an expiry date? Why?
No. It's just like you should be like switching out your masks
Oh,
every 7
okay.
days.
Okay, understand.
So yeah, this one I started on the 24th, so I still have about 3 days left with this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is an N95. This is a respirator mask. So what this means is that it blocks all air and large particle, not all air, lol, otherwise you wouldn't be able to breathe. It blocks large particles from entering in the mask. Okay.
Okay.
So it protects you against things like coronavirus, TB, blah 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 blah. Blah. The problem with these masks is that like nobody knows how to put them on. Okay. So, and the reason it's in this packet is so that I don't touch it, or it doesn't touch any of my personal stuff, because a corona person's probably coughed on this.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm gonna take my headphones off for this, so I can show you guys how to put it on.
If you want to still talk, you can put it on your neck, maybe, or that'll work. Or
Oh yeah.
try that. There we go.
So my hair is really flat. Okay. Anyways. So you have like these two little strips at the back.
Okay.
And there's a metal bar at the top, okay? And the metal bar is supposed to be like curved around your nose. So what you do is you start at the bottom from your chin, right? onto your chin, and then around the head. Okay, make it
Oh.
nice and tight. Must hug the chin there. Okay, and then from the nose, you press it into your nose, straight in like that.
Is
Okay,
that the
it must be
metal bar
deep.
that's like sticking to it?
Yeah, so it must be deep ass on your nose, like seriously. The best test to see if your N95 is fitting properly is if you spray deodorant around you, you shouldn't be able to smell it. That's the best test.
Okay.
Okay. If you smell it, that means that there's an air leak in your mask that's allowing these large particles to come in. Okay. Then the second one is a surgical mask. Okay, and you put, so there's a blue side and then there's a white side. You can't really see it very well here. So like, let me rather say it like this. So there's like a sort of cotton kind of side, and then there's like it looks like it's like patterned.
Yeah.
Okay. The patterned side is the side that goes outside, and the cotton side is the side that goes inside on your face.
Okay.
So this one also has a metal bar. So the metal bar must also go on the top of your head. Okay. So this one you just tie. I hate tying these. Sorry. It always takes me really long.
It's fine.
Okay. And then, okay, let's just say it's been a while since I've been in surgery, guys. This is the masks we use in surgery. So one thing you tie at the top, it's easier when my hair is tied up because it rests on my bun or my pony. And the
Okay.
other one you tie at the bottom of your neck. This one I usually tie loose. Okay, and then same principle. You open it up the bottom and you tight in the nose. Okay, this one is not for protecting you against coronavirus. I repeat, this one is not for protecting you against coronavirus. If you have this mask and you think that it's going to protect you, you are retarded. Okay, this mask is for the purpose of preventing your spit from getting onto other people. So this is the mask you should be using if you are sick. Okay, if you are coughing into this mask. Okay, if you want to protect yourself, you should be using an N95. They look like, this is the ones we have in South Africa. They also have they're also the round ones that are like green, and the white ones that kind of look like a fish mouth.
Okay,
Those are
I've
all
seen those.
N95s.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just put my headset back on. I repeat, do not use a surgical mask to protect you. You just look like an idiot. Okay.
Thank you for explaining that. I didn't know there were a difference in masks. I thought all of them were just the same, to be honest.
No, yeah. So that's the misconception that's irritating me.
I'm seeing people walk around with these fucking like what they use when they like paint houses or like spray houses and stuff. Do you think
so
those
that's
will help?
also, no, those are also N95s. They're
Oh,
just
okay.
they just look differently.
Okay.
So N95s are generally like personal protective equipment of anyone that works with harmful chemicals. So doctors, painters, people that do like spray painting on cars, they all wear N95 masks.
Oh, okay.
So they just look different, but they're all the same thing. Okay, they all do the same thing. Then you have, so yeah, so please just like understand the difference. If you are going to wear masks, understand what the difference between them are. If you start getting sick, the best mask for you is this one. The N95 mask still lets stuff out of the mask. I mean, this one also does on the sides because it's better to catch the droplets. That's the whole point. And these ones you should be changing
Constantly.
like every day. Yeah, these ones you should be changing every day. You shouldn't be using these. I would say like 2 days max, but after that you should not be using this.
Question from I've thought about this. So I'm thinking if I get it, let's say I get it, and I want to protect the people around me. I have a scarf. Will a scarf, if I tie a scarf around my face, will that help or not really?
Yeah, look, anything will help as long as you're stopping the spread of droplets into the air. So there are two ways to spread. So you have respiratory droplets and aerosolized particles. Okay. So when you cough, you're coughing droplets, and when you sneeze, you're sneezing out droplets and aerosolized particles. Okay. Aerosolized particles are much smaller, and they're usually the ones that stick on surfaces.
Okay.
Droplets, however, are the ones that will like fly, and like when you sneeze, a droplet can land like very far away from you. Like, I think I read a statistic like 3 meters away from where you sneeze.
Damn
A
it.
droplet can land. That's very far. Okay. Aerosolized particles stay in the air a lot longer than droplets because droplets are bigger, so they fall down. Okay.
Okay.
Now the issue is that coronavirus survives on surfaces like plastic and metal for up to 3 days.
Wait, whoa. 3 days? I thought it was like 3 hours.
3 days.
Jesus. Okay, that I didn't know. I really thought it was like 3 hours.
So what I recommend to people who are gamers, day when I was gonna say when you come home, but you guys are all at home. Every time you're planning on like using your keyboard and mouse, I recommend just wiping it down with a wet wipe. Because you don't know, like, and you should probably do that now.
Yeah,
do that
and
now.
yeah, and
Everyone,
like
just
yeah, everyone
clean.
clean your keyboards right now.
And mice and headsets here on the rims here where you.
Oh, you touch it all the time. That's actually okay. That's actually very good.
So it's good to like do that like every day, especially now that pandemic. Sorry, my hands are feeling a bit dirty since I touched that mask.
That's fine. If there is any advice, okay, you can give to someone who has it, who doesn't have it, just to any person out there. Doesn't have to be South African. Any person out there who might just, if there's any advice you could give them regarding staying safe and best way not to get it and what to do when you get it or when you think you have it. What is your advice for? I know that's a very loaded question because I mean there's a lot of different factors there, but if you could just give, dude, your dog is so cute in the background.
I'm also looking.
Let's start with I think I might have symptoms. What is your advice for me?
Okay, so please, for the love of God, don't come to the hospital, don't come to the clinic, don't go to the shop, don't get in your car, don't do anything. Just stay in your room, stay in the blankets, just stay there. Stay there forever. No, I'm just kidding. Until you don't have symptoms anymore. There is no point in coming and infecting every person because we don't have a cure, and what you being positive is going to enrich your life. How? It's not going to enrich your life in any way. Okay. It's only important to come and seek medical care if you are very ill. Okay. Because the only thing that we as healthcare professionals are going to tell you if you test positive is to go home and stay at home and don't talk to and interact or do anything with anyone. Okay. Like that, like I cannot stress this point enough. Whether you test positive for coronavirus or not does not make a difference. It does not matter because we have no treatment options available. We have none. So it does not matter if you actually have corona or common cold or what, TB or who the hell cares, okay? If you have a cough, a fever, and shortness of breath, just stay at home until you no longer have some. Unless you are so ill that you cannot breathe or your fever goes above 40 degrees, okay, because that's very dangerous for your body, then you can come and seek medical care. But otherwise, you are like only going to be adding to our statistics. And I cannot stress this enough. Please stay home if you are ill. And do what? Self-isolate. Because isolation is for people who have some.
And so what I was going to ask now is let's say you let's say you have it. What is the best treatment? It's just like normal, like treating a flu. Rest, you take good fluids or taking all your vitamins and all that shit. That still stays the same. There's not like some remedy that will magically help you now.
Correct. Okay. It is a virus, okay? Antibiotics will not help. Antibiotics are for bacteria, okay? Like skin infections and stuff. This is a virus, okay? Viruses either need vaccine, so you get the vaccine before you get the virus, or we need antiviral medication, which stops the replication of the virus in the body, okay? Currently, we have neither, so you just got to get rid of it with that good old immune system. And keeping your immune system up is by resting, not exerting yourself, drinking lots of fluids, and making sure you eat a healthy diet.
So you're saying that, it's kind of ironic that you say you need to rest, yet you're the one working 15 to 20 or like 26-hour shifts.
So currently my working hours, I'm in primary healthcare, is a little bit better. So when I was in surgery, I was working 10 to 11-hour normal days, and then I would work like a 30-hour shift overtime. Now I'm working about 7-8 hours a day. And when I do calls, it's either 12 hours or 26 hours.
Okay, I guess that's a bit better than your previous situation. Wow, it's been really okay. What is your advice for someone
to prevent themselves
Yeah,
from getting.
the most like okay. I want to expand on the question. So obviously, people are going to have to go buy something somewhere. What is your best advice? I know one thing you said was about don't even fucking take your phone with you. Don't even take it with you. I know that's one thing. What is your advice for so let's say I just want to go to the store, I want to buy something, I'm going to come home, I'm not going to do anything, I just want to go buy something. What is your advice if you don't have stuff like gloves? If you don't have something like a mask, what is your best advice for that?
Okay, so let's use the. Okay, first of all, I'll tell you what I do. I take off all of my clothes, all of it. I immediately
Nice.
wash my hands, my face, my phone, like all of it, okay, and put my clothing in the bin before I come inside the house and touch things in the house. Mario, don't even dare, guys. That ain't true. He's actually saying that it's a. So I don't know if you can see. So this is like the threshold. So our stairs go down here, okay? And I just come up. So you see where these shoes are? That's usually where I dump all of my clothes. So before I even come into our place, I don't touch anything with the clothes that I've been wearing because I've been in contact with all these people that cough and stuff, okay? But when you're going out, make sure that you look, even if you don't have a mask, even if you don't have gloves, fine. Cover your face with a scarf, okay? Make sure you distance yourself from other people. And anything that you touch while you are out, you have to come back. When you get back home, you have to sterilize or sanitize or wash. So that means your cards, your phone if you've used it, any part of your car that you've touched. So your steering wheel, your gear stick, your door handles, your window thingies, like all of that. So every time Mario fetches me, he has to beep into the estate, which is like a finger pad thingy, which is like probably the worst thing ever. Every time he like will hold his finger to me and then I sterilize it before he touches the rest of the car steering wheel. It was like the car handle, the steering wheel. So yeah, so you really have to, and then when you get home, wash your hands properly. And a lot of people don't know how to wash their hands.
There's a lot of I know there's been a lot of videos lately, guys. You can definitely find if you don't know how to fucking wash your hands correct.
I will show you myself.
All right, she's gonna do it
wash your
first.
hands properly, okay? And I'm going to do a very visual presentation. So I'm putting gloves.
Just move your mic again, just up and down. It's like it cuts out or something. It's every now.
Is it better?
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to get a new headset, guys. Please sponsor.
Just you can tell your Mr. Musical, Mr. Mario over there, why can't you use one of his fucking amazing XLR mics?
His amazing what? Sorry.
His like XLR mics, like it's one of his cool mics. Why doesn't he say one of you?
His mics.
Oh yeah.
I heard. First of all, I heard his amazing arms. I don't know. It's like, wait, what? Okay. So guys, I'm gonna show you how to wash your hands properly. So these are my hands, okay, with my gloves. But imagine me not having gloves, right?
Okay.
And this is hair dye. So I'm gonna show you with hair dye how you should get all the areas.
You're gonna waste your hair dye. Shame, dude.
No, it's fine. I only need a little because this is like very dark hair dye. Okay, so
focus.
This is the soap that you've just put onto your hand. Okay, this is legit the soap that you've just put into your hands. Okay, so most people start with the casual little na 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 na,
and then they're done.
Yeah, so
that's me.
Done.
That's me.
So all the white areas or all the areas of your hand that you have not washed, okay, or that has not gotten in contact with the soap. Okay.
Okay.
So then a lot of people do that. Okay. So they do the top and the other side. Okay. Oh shit! I need a bit more dye here. Okay.
I think we can see.
BRB, guys. I'm one of those people that use a lot of soap. Okay. 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 So wash. Okay. Then you wash the top part of your hands. Okay. Like that. Okay. Then the next part that I usually do is my wrist. This is the part that people forget often is your wrists. So then I do this. I wash my wrists. Okay. Wash my wrists. Okay. Now this is what we have currently. So our thumbs are still not washed. In between our fingers. Okay, and the tops of our fingers. These are the parts that are not washed. Just imagine that we got this part of my wrist. These gloves are a little bit big for me. Sorry, guys. Okay. So now the next movement that you'll do, and it doesn't really matter what order you do this in, as long as you get all these areas. Okay. So the next part is the in between your fingers. Okay, here. So now it's like mostly purple, except that one. Okay, and then in between your fingers. Okay.
Okay.
Then you remember these parts are still
Yeah, they're not even touched yet.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine that? These parts of your hands have not even been touched. So then I start with the tips of my fingernails. Okay.
Oh
Then I
yeah,
go
yeah. I
to
haven't even thought
then I
about that.
go
You have to wash
that.
under your fingers as well. Under
Yeah,
your fingernails, sorry.
like that. Okay. Then you go like that, and then you go in like that. So you wash every joint in your fingers. Okay. So you start at the tips, then you fold in, then you fold in, then you fold in. Okay. Same side here. Okay.
This is just a question for girls only, but is it true that if you have longer nails, it's bad for you?
Yes,
Like
very.
because the stuff can like get stuck under there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've since cut my nails since this corona crap started. Okay. So let me just these ones here we go. Okay. And then the last but not least is the thumb.
Oh
Okay,
wow,
can you
it's not
see
even touched yet. Holy fuck.
my thumbs still haven't even been touched. Okay. So then you do the thumb wash, which is around. Don't forget the tip.
Like a little dick, yeah.
There we go. And then around. Okay. So now your whole hands must be covered. And then I just do one final look. Done. Okay. Every corner of your hand should be covered with soap. In between, you see there?
Yeah, everything's covered. Okay.
Everything's covered. That takes a shit long time, guys.
But it's for your own health in the end.
Look, when you get good at it, like me, I don't do it in 20 seconds. I do it in less than 20 seconds.
Yeah, obviously, because if you do, you do it a lot, and like you said, with your hospital running out of sanitizers, you have to do it more. So
yeah. So like once you get used to like how to wash properly, that is how most people should be washing their hands all the time, anyways. Also, when you do this, you should be taking any accessories, rings, watches, blah blah blah, and you should sanitize those separately.
okay.
I would put the purple dye straight onto my hands and show you that if I were to remove my ring, this whole area would not be washed.
Tell me, I'm looking at your hand sanitizer. What's the difference between that hand and I can't talk. What's the difference between that hand sanitizer and those waterless ones? Is the waterless ones worse, or are all of them have the same?
It really doesn't matter as long as the alcohol percentage is above 60%. So this one is 70% ethyl alcohol.
Okay, so you can drink that and you'll get like a proper hangover.
You can drink this and you'll probably die.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
It's not the same type of alcohol as alcohol.
Yeah, that was just.
So, for those of you who think you can make hand sanitizer drinking alcohol, incorrect.
I heard they were like people trying to like they buy like cheap wine and stuff, and then they're like selling it to people as hand sanitizers, where they would like mix it with soap. Like, how fucking daft are you to pay for that? I'm sorry, but what?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people have been like these DIY make your own hands. No comment.
Okay. Well.
So to answer Vince's question,
Wait, what was the question?
People who use bleach and water. So
Okay.
that is actually legit. Okay. The problem is that you have to mix the bleach properly. Okay. So you have to mix the. So you take jick or bleach or whatever. It has to be 3.5%, or else this what do you call it? Recipe? Is this a recipe? This recipe won't work.
Formula.
Okay. Yeah. So you take 3.5%, which is what most bleaches are. Most household bleaches, and find me a house that does not have bleach. Find me one. There is not a single house. So nobody can say that they don't have money to buy hand sanitizer, because they can easily make a bugger ton of hand sanitizer with not even that much bleach. Okay. So you take, so this is all equal parts that we're saying. So it doesn't matter if you use a spoon, if you use a cup, if you use a whole freaking thing of jick. Okay, it doesn't matter, but it must be equal parts. Okay, so firstly, you're going to take your jick and you have one equal part. So let's say, for example, you use a spoon, right? One teaspoon of jick, and then you're going to mix that 1 teaspoon of jick with 7 cups of water.
Okay, so it can't be just bleach. You can't wash it with just bleach.
No, you will kill yourself. Okay. Sorry, with 6 parts of water, not 7. So there's 7 in total. So it's the bleach plus 6 thingies of water. So one spoon of bleach, and then 6 spoons of water. Okay. And then you have a little mixture. Okay. And from that mixture, you will take 1 teaspoon into a new container, and then you'll put 9 units of water. So you must really dilute the bleach.
Okay, so you can't just go like put everything in and then just wash your hands with it.
Yeah, so most bleaches will start at 3.5%. At the end of this, you should have a 0.05%
Okay. Is it bad for your skin?
mixture. Yes.
Okay. Well, the more you know.
It's quite strong, and it's quite potent. Okay, so that's why you have to dilute the jick. But it's very potent, so it's very good like to kill things on your hands and stuff.
And chlorine?
So jick is chlorine.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't know that.
It's a Cl solution.
Yeah, I didn't know
Chlorine,
that. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's the thing in the jick. There's a whole bunch of other shit in jick as well, like fragrance and blah blah blah, whatever. But it's the chlorine in the jick that actually is what is the part that you want to use to kill
All the germs and stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've learned a lot. I'm also much more scared now. I don't know if that's the word. And
Don't be.
I cannot stress this enough, guys. Please go follow her on Twitter. She shares the most interesting stats and really has this is what I love about her the most, is the fact that she doesn't have a filter. She says it as it is, because that's the best way to get a message across to people. You have to say things as it is. And remember, she's obviously she is much more informed than the media would be. Well, okay, the media might have information, but at least she will give you the facts behind the facts. It's one thing for someone to tell me like, oh, there's 1,000 people infected, but out of those 1,000 people, like she said earlier, only 1 or 2% will get really ill. There's actually one more thing I wanted to ask you. The 2 people that died, right? One of the people, sorry?
No, go. So South Africa's actually retracted that statement, and it's only 1 person that died.
So which one died? The old lady or the young one?
I think it was the 48-year-old lady.
Because I wanted to ask about the 28-year-old, because that 28-year-old...
So that's why they retracted the statement. They found that the cause of death was not coronavirus. She did die, but it wasn't from coronavirus. She tested negative.
Oh, okay. So the older person, or the older lady from Durbanville, so she got the virus and then she died from the coronavirus, right? That's what she died from.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted. I wanted to bring this up. So please don't think that coronavirus is just going to kill the old people or people with illnesses. New statistics have shown around the world that people who are younger are also dying with no underlying health conditions. So technically everyone can die.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what your age is, you can die.
Yeah, but the probability is that you are less likely to die from it if you are younger.
Okay, is that because you have a strong immune system?
And the biggest comorbid conditions are hypertension, high blood pressure, and diabetes.
Wow.
Those are 2 of the biggest risk factors at the moment. That's because a lot of the population has high blood pressure and diabetes.
Are people still getting... This might sound like a stupid question, but I'm genuinely asking this because I'm uninformed. Are people still getting the common flu and the common cold during this time? Are people still getting it now? As per, like, they might think they have coronavirus, but they might just have the common cold or the common flu.
Problem is that we don't really know.
Okay.
Because we're not testing everyone, remember?
Yeah, that's okay.
So for example, yesterday I was on call. I swear, every single Tom, Dick, and shit-faced Harry has cough, fever, and shortness of breath, and I'm just like, oh God, it literally could be anything. Could be TB, could be flu, could be cold, could be corona.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone just thinks it's freaking corona because that's all they hear about. But I've actually diagnosed more TB in the last 2 weeks than I have coronavirus.
And if someone would have, if someone would get TB during this time, they'd still get the same treatment, right? It won't be like just because the coronavirus is being spread or anything. They still get exactly the same treatment. Oh, okay.
No, TB treat. I mean, like really, really hope that you don't ever have to go on TB treatment, because then I feel like awful for you, because it's 6 months worth of treatment.
That's not just something that it's just over in a week.
No, and if you don't finish those 6 months of treatment, then you're gonna have to go on like 9 months of treatment because you're gonna have stronger TB that won't respond to the medication.
Wow. That is insane. I think this
Yo,
is a. Sorry.
Catchy, you hope that I'm your doctor.
Yeah, she's
You
a,
should hope that I'm your doctor. I'm a badass. I have no fear.
that's the
Come
good thing.
Corona.
I would
Corona, come
prefer.
at me.
I would prefer any doctor who is an honest and straight up person over someone who's going to sugarcoat it for me. Rather tell me what the fuck is going on, and then I can prepare for the worst or the best with that doctor with their professional help.
I mean, I can't even stress enough how many people like lost my shit out in the last few days because of the coronavirus thing. Like people that are perfectly healthy, I'm like, get the fuck out of my clinic.
and people are
Like,
probably
no, seriously. I like literally tell them to get out. I'm like, you are like inundating our healthcare system for no reason.
not taking up time as well. What was people are probably misjudging your degree with a, or not misjudging. Sorry, they were probably insulting your degree with their Google search. Probably you'd be like, oh, I read on the news that this, or I read somewhere this. What do you say to someone like that? Is that
So
the same? Sorry.
So the biggest like bugger up that we've done thus far is that on the radios week before last, sorry, they announced that you can go to any local clinic and get tested for coronavirus. We had a massive surge of people. It was so terrible. We had so many people coming to the clinics being like, I want to get tested for corona. And then being like, and we're just like, we don't have testing kits here. We don't test in the clinics. Like,
It's not how it works.
yeah, you must go to a designated testing site.
Wow. And how many are there? Do you know? Are there a lot?
So at the moment there are quite a lot. So so again, it depends. Lancet has a lot. And I can link you guys the Lancet laboratories testing sites around the country. But the testing costs 1,000 rand.
Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's fair that the people you pay every single fucking month for to have medical aid, to tell you that they can only help you if you test positive? Do you think that's fair? What is your? I had 2 podcasts last week, and I spoke to both of them about that.
I know. I do think it's fair because a lot of people are unnecessarily tested when they have like that's their symptoms.
Okay, but I mean, you're paying for it. Isn't that something that I mean, every month we're paying for this, hoping that we don't need to use them, but now that we have to use them.
No, so Discovery, Vince, let me just correct you on that one. Discovery is only covering the cost of the test and the treatment if you are positive. If you are negative, you have to pay for the test.
Wow. Yeah, like
so it's like let me put it to you like this. I think I should be getting hazard pay.
I personally believe so, but you're probably going to tell me why I'm wrong.
But I don't get hazard pay.
Obviously, no. That's why would they help you?
My whole freaking job is a hazard. Every day I'm at a risk of getting these diseases and stuff that could really inundate my life. Like if I get TB, for example, there goes a good portion of your lung function. Like a lot of people, will make a full recovery from TB, but if you're that one person that gets permanent lung damage, you're in for a really shit life.
Wow. So yeah, that's I honestly thought that doctors actually do get like a danger pay, you know.
So but like think in my opinion, like I do think that some people should pay for it. Like a lot of people are going unnecessarily, like they have no contacts. Like now it's difficult. Like at the beginning when our numbers first started, which was on the 4th of March, 24 days ago.
Yeah.
And they haven't released our statistics for the day today.
I've seen. I actually wanted to check just before we started the podcast to see if there was any update, but they haven't released anything yet. So we might be in for a surprise.
So the reason why they're releasing the statistics quite late in the day now is to curb panic and fear of going to the shops and stuff.
Oh wow! I didn't see. You think of these things, dude. Holy fuck! I didn't even think of that. That makes so much sense, though.
Mhm. So yeah. I just want to show everyone. Let me first.
Go ahead, please.
Let me first click out my. For those of you who like wanna follow the coronavirus like updates. So this is the website I use. It's called Worldometers Coronavirus. Here,
I'll add that to the description after.
I'll put a link there for you guys. Okay. This is
also
like
wait. Sorry. Go follow her on Twitter right now. Saw me and Vinks, everyone. Just spam that in the chat so whoever can watch it. Go follow her on Twitter. Like legit, it is so. it's so informative, and there's so many things you're gonna learn through her that she can just explain a bit better than the people who are in the media just spamming unnecessary like articles or whatever. Just please go follow her on Twitter. It's very informative, and yeah, just do it. Just fucking do it, okay?
Yeah. So I really like this site. They update their number very quickly as soon as information.
Just put your mic closer again there, please.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah, so they're nice in the sense that they release or they update their numbers like very quickly after information gets released. So yeah, so this is the website I use. It's really nice because they give you like all these graphs, but they not only the graphs, they also give you like useful information like what are the currently like existing conditions, how many people per sex, per age, per whatever are like alive, dead, infected, whatever, mortality rates, all that kind of stuff. Is useful information. And then it gives you like all the list of countries and how many and how their like cases go up every single day.
Wow, USA is at 100,000.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
They overtook China like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Jesus.
So this is not even the best part about this app. I'm waiting till they release South Africa's individual statistics, but you can go per country's individual statistics, and then it gives you like the individual statistics and all of the sources for every single day, like every single state, sorry. And it gives you like graphs and it gives you all this stuff. But this is my favorite part about this website. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Currently, there's only one country in the whole world that is not infected, and that's Botswana.
Botswana, wow. African area fucking representing, dude.
So this is the part that I like the most about this this website is that it gives you this every single day the updates, and it gives you interesting things. So like for example, now they're like not not being very like updatey on this, but where was the statistics? India. Here we go. So this was yesterday's statistics: 5,900 new cases in Italy, the highest number of deaths since the beginning of the epidemic, and 46 doctors have died to date. 6,400 healthcare workers have tested positive, and it gives you the sources. So this is really important. So please, if you want like really accurate information, because sometimes it's difficult to know where this stuff is coming from, or if the information that's released is like right. I've like checked a lot of these sources and they're like legitimate. Like this website is very, very good. And yeah, I really like it.
Okay, well, both of us will tweet it out after the podcast. I'll put it at the below under the in the description of the YouTube video as well.
No, the USA is not gone up 1,000 today. They update the statistics as the day goes on. So by the end of the day, it'll be another 10,000.
And it's still only morning that side.
Hello?
Is it not? It's still only morning that side, is it not?
Yes.
So
not morning. It's like noonish now.
No, noonish. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Just one last question from chat. Is it true that people in China have recovered and have been reinfected? Do you know anything about that?
Oh yeah, we spoke about this earlier. So the statistics of people who have been reinfected are very defined.
Still very vague.
Yeah. Still very vague. From what I understand, the first person that had a reinfection was in Japan, but then they postulated that this lady actually didn't fully recover from the illness. So this is why this website is really, really nice, because this website, I got all of this information from this website.
Okay.
Everything about all the different countries, about what's happening in all the different countries, what measures they've put into place, which countries have gone on to into lockdown, like important people that have tested positive. So like before, I saw it on Twitter that Boris tested positive. Boris Johnson, who's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Damn.
I saw it on this website.
Okay. Okay,
so
we'll definitely use that.
To answer your question, Salmi, we're not sure yet. There have been some instances, but we can't really separate it from the first infection and a new instance of infection.
Wuhan is back to normal, right?
So from what I understand, they have loosened the lockdown regulations. They still have stuff in place for people who are still symptomatic, because currently they still have active cases. So remember, in China, a lot of these cases happened in Wuhan, but not all of them were in Wuhan. Some of them are in the rest of China.
Yeah.
But so currently, according to this website, I really like this website, guys. Don't get it back. I swear to God, they should like hire me as their sponsor. 54 new cases and 3 new deaths in Hubei, which is where Wuhan is.
Yeah.
On Saturday, 28 March, China is closing its border to foreigners to protect its citizens from a potential second wave of infection.
Which is probably a good thing.
Almost all new recent cases in China were imported.
Sorry, it was what?
Imported, so from people from other countries that came into China.
No, it probably came back or something.
Yeah.
Wow. So now it might actually it could start to spread again, and that's what I guess they're trying not to let happen.
Because if you think about it, China has like 1 billion people that are living there, and only 80,000. There's still a lot of people in China that can get coronavirus.
Yeah, definitely. I can. That's why it makes sense why they would be blocking off the ports. I really hope there's a good. Well, I for one don't believe that 3 weeks is going to be enough. I think we're gonna be stuck at home for a while. But hopefully, if our youth would stop being as fucking stupid as they are currently and just keeping on as if nothing is an issue, we could flatten the curve, as you would say, and we could prevent the spread. Definitely. But at the moment, I don't really see I don't see a light at the end of the 3-week tunnel. I see a light at the end of a longer period than that. That's just my opinion.
I'll quickly answer Solmi's question on how India has cases. I don't know. Can he hear me? See, he was.
No, you can.
I think he was typing about not being able to hear me and that he needs transcribing. I'm not sure.
No, it's because he probably has bad internet. He's just he lives in a bad part of Cape Town. They don't have the best internet there, so I kind of understand.
Oh, okay. They locked down regions in India, so India has 13.
Yeah, they did the lockdown quite early, right?
Yeah, they
right,
did their
way
lockdown
earlier than a lot of other people, and you can see why. That's literally why. Janine, I cannot thank you enough for your time. Is there anything you want to end it off on? I think this is a good part to definitely to let it go and set into people's minds. Is there anything if there's anything else you want to talk about, please, by all means. But is there anything else you want to like deliberately get out there for people to really take in?
Please stay home. And I know a lot of people are saying that, like, really think about all the people in Africa who have HIV, who have TB, who are ill. We have really high statistics of high blood pressure, diabetes. If you combine all of the people in South Africa, high blood pressure, diabetes, TB, HIV, you're looking at probably like maybe 40% of our population. So if this coronavirus thing gets like super out of hand, just like do your part. It really does take one person to just stay at home that like really lowers the numbers. Think about it like this. You infect 59,000 people every 10 days. So like if you infect one person infect 3 people who infect 3 people, you, the single person, will have infected 59,000 people at the end of 10 days.
That's a big number, guys. Stop thinking about me and start thinking about we. There's not a time to think about yourself. Think about everyone else. Think about your family. Think about your friends.
Currently, gout is not a known risk factor for developing potentially serious consequences of coronavirus.
Right, that's everything from my side. Thank you once again. Thank you. This is very informative. Like, I learned a lot, and I'm like super scared. This will be uploaded to YouTube as always. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Thank you for the subscribers and all the followers who are watching at the moment, and those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. It costs you literally nothing. If you really love me, you can subscribe to my Twitch channel, and you can also leave a follow if you like. Thank you so much for watching. Janine, don't go anywhere. Just want to end it off with you real quick. I'm just gonna end the stream on my side. And yeah, thank you so much once again from my side. Thank you to not only you, thank you to Mario as well for letting you discuss with me, and also thank you to your dogs for giving us extra entertainment. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye. Have a good day. Stay safe. Peace out. You could
dream, but you just failed to see it. There is always another day. For you, there's another round. No day